Hello, Change Squad. How are you? I hope you guys are well today. Listen, today is a great day to have a great day, and I hope you are doing just that. I have a story to tell you, okay? Okay, brief story, but a story nonetheless. So let me tell you about this. Let me tell you about the bird, okay? So there is a bird that is a certain type of bird. I honestly don't know what kind of bird it is. What I do know is that the bird who showed up this year is the same bird who was here last year. Now the difference is that he looks a little bit more mature than he did last year. So I don't know if it's the same one, but nonetheless, it looks a little bit bigger. It's a smaller bird, but he looks a little bit bigger this year than he did last year. But let me tell you what this bird does. Um, mm, I have in my living room area, there's a sliding door, right? You know, the sliding glass door that goes out to like a mini deck that we have there, right? Well, on the inside of the door, I have plants that are going across, and my plants, some of them are tall, short, big, whatever. And they're just plants going across, except for like right at the entryway, but just like on the sides, right? So this bird, since last year is when I noticed it, because what I started to notice was these specks that were on my glass, and it was kind of weird because it's really shielded. Like the glass can get dirty, but it's like dirt that would like come from after it rains, and things kick back up on the glass, that kind of dirt and pollen and stuff like that. But it was like these specks on the glass, and I'm like, what in the world could that possibly be, and what is going on? Well, come to find out, it was this bird because I started to hear this boom, 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 like and I'm like, what is this noise? And so put two and two together. I happened to be out one morning getting coffee and realized it was the bird. It was the bird who was continuously pecking, hitting, going after he's going after my snake plant. I have a snake plant there that is pretty tall. It looks beautiful, but it's on the inside of my house. He's on the outside. But he keeps trying to go after, and it's that one plant though. Like, so right next to it is another beautiful plant. On the other side, there's another beautiful plant. So there's other plants. Now, let me also let you know that these plants are on the inside of my home, right? On the other side, there is like a whole forest because we live on land, right? And it's not flat land, it's trees. So when I tell you like big, tall, beautiful trees. It almost looks as if my house is in a tree house. Like, if you just kind of look out the door, look out from the back way. But he keeps going after the snake plant. Forget the fact that there's a whole forest back here. But every day he's going after the snake plant, not the other plant down here. Doesn't care about those plants. He is specifically going for the snake plant. Now, mind you, what is this? Okay, let me tell you, what is the lesson here? Letitia, what's the lesson here? I never thought I would talk about a story or a lesson from a bird, but surely there is a lesson here. Lesson number one, I'm going to give you two lessons. Lesson number one is that this bird can see and feel the barrier. He's hitting it every time he tries to attempt. Every time he attempts to get this snake plant, he is hitting the glass. And then sometimes he hits the glass, he just lands right back on the edge of the deck rail. Or sometimes he hits it so hard he drops and then he gets back up. He's doing these different things. I actually sit there and watched him because I was just amazed at what was going on. So, but there is a barrier between him and this plant, which is the glass window. But what he can see only is what's possible. He sees that plan. It's in his heart, his mind. What he sees the snake plant, and he is by any means necessary going to get to it. Now you and I know that there's no way he's going to get to this plant unless I put it outside or he comes inside. Neither one is happening. They're just not. Okay? But he sees what's possible. He sees what can happen. His eyes are set on the prize. Okay? He is like, I am going to get this no matter what. Okay, let me see. Despite the fact that there are so many trees back here, distractions, his eyes are focused on the dream. His dream is that snake plant. But he's not distracted by all the other trees. He's not distracted by the nearby plants. Nothing. Now, let me tell you, the other day, I also, without notice, it was two of them. Now, his buddy was hanging over on one of the trees. He was perched up on one of the trees. And I guess he came over now, my bird, which is, now he my bird. He's sitting on a deck because he had just crashed into the window again. And so his buddy comes over. I guess I don't know if he was trying to tell him not, to stop. I don't know what he was talking about. But Buddy runs off. Guess who stayed on that ledge? He said in his mind is so set that this thing is possible. His friend done perched up on a tree. And it was funny to me because now he just looking at him. And I have commentary. I just started putting commentary on things. And so I just start saying, like, he probably like, why don't he even know? Like, because he can't convince him otherwise. His friend can't convince him. The hurt that he's going through and feeling is not, it doesn't matter. All he sees is what's possible. And he can clearly see that plant. And for whatever reason, it looks mighty good to him. So he keeps going for it every day. And what I also notice is that he doesn't do it all day. So he is going after the dream, but he doesn't spend his entire day doing it, but he spends enough time doing it. He keeps chipping away at it. And perhaps the dream will come true. But if I just get up every single day and I do something towards my dream every single day, something is going to happen. But you got to move. You got to move. Move in the direction of your dream. And he gets out here and he does it every day. Some might be some days where he take off or may not do it as long of a day. But it's interesting because when evening time comes, he's nowhere to be found. I don't even know what kind of bird this is, to be honest with you. But I'm just like observing his behavior because it's like tripping me out at this point. So he sees what's possible and nothing's stopping him. And that's how we need to be when it comes to our dream and the things that we desire. We need to be relentless and see what's possible. Now, here's my second lesson. The second lesson is that the barrier, it does not deter him. It does not stop him. Now, mind you, this thing keeps on, it's knocking him down. And sometimes he hits it so hard that he actually falls. He falls, gets back up, and keep it moving. He goes, he recuperates for a second. He gets on the ledge. And next thing you know, he's back at it again. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The barrier doesn't matter. He is going after what it is that he desires. Despite his friends just sitting over there looking, because sometimes your friends don't understand. They don't get it because it hasn't been instilled in them as it has in you. It's different. So sometimes to them you look a little crazy. And I'm willing to look a little crazy. I'm willing to look a little different. I'm willing to look a little awkward if it means me attaining my dream. If that's what that means, okay, that's what we gonna do. But this is a bird. And it's out of all the birds that, hang out back here, this is still the back area of my house over here. But out of all the birds that hang out over here, it's that type of bird that does it. Like the other birds don't do that. So it's something in him. There's a reason he wants that snake plant. And it's okay. His reason is his reason. His dream is his dream. Now you and I know he can never have it. But it doesn't stop him from going after it. And the difference between him and us as humans is that we can go after a thing because what we believe, we start to walk in the direction of what we believe. We start putting action behind our faith because it's just really a wish. It's not really it's not really a dream if you're not doing anything about it. If you don't have no action, no plan behind it, it really is just a wish. You just kind of hoping, maybe something gonna happen one day. Like I don't know, and you sit and wait for something to drop. But we get a chance. We get a chance, and we have opportunity to make our dreams a reality. We get to really rock in reality, like for real. Now, unless there's a snake plant growing back now, see, I'm not going to even say that. I was going to say unless there's a snake plant growing back there in my forest somewhere, then his chance of getting a snake plant are like slim to none. But he don't even care. The beauty of those other trees are not distracting him in no way, which blows my mind. They're not distracting him. But that's the root. That's the root of or the route of success. You have to be willing to look different, to look crazy, to look like the odd man out. You gotta be willing to do that. You gotta be willing to have folks sitting over talking about you, wondering what's going on. Keep about what you're doing or what it looks like you're doing. Because they really don't know. They don't get it. They don't understand it. And it's okay. But you gotta be willing to keep going despite all of that. Because they can't feel what you feel. They can't see what you can see. They don't know what you know. They only know about their own dream. They don't understand. They don't get yours. Like we don't get theirs. But the lesson here is to always see what's possible. Is to not get distracted by the barriers that will come up and try to knock you down. The things, because sometimes it's not even people. It's not external things that get in our way. Sometimes, and I know this from working with my clients, is that a lot of the things that we are up against are not external. They're internal. This is where they're internal. They're internal things that we're up against. The beliefs, the things that we hold near and dear to our hearts that need to be unlearned and need to be forgotten about. They somehow or another they have their way of becoming barriers. And so I have the privilege of working with folks so that they no longer become a barrier, but that they become the force that drives them to their next level, the part that drives them to live a life of significance, the something that drives them to live in their power and in their purpose. So I hope and I pray for you today that you be as persistent, that you be as tenacious, that you be as consistent, because consistent doesn't mean all day. Consistent does not mean every day, right? But that you be as tenacious, as determined, as consistent, as persistent as that bird. And it's a shame because I don't even know what kind of bird it is, or I will call it its name. But I hope that you be or become that for you. This is a lesson of the bird, okay? It blows my mind. Like I barely heard or saw him today. He took a rest. It was probably a lot. He took a lot of blows every time he goes up against that glass. That's a lot. A rejection is a lot. It can hurt the ego. It can hurt. Sometimes you need to go recoup. You need to go take a break. You need to step away for a second. But as long as you know to come back. But I want you, listen, to be as tenacious as this bird. And sometimes it means, maybe borrowing someone else's faith, someone else's hope, someone else's vision. But do what you need to do so that you can champion your own change, so that you can show up for you and then show up in your true significance. Because you're going to need these lessons from the bird. You're going to need to implement these so you can show up. Always see what's possible and don't get deterred by the barriers. You confront them and you overcome them. Well, guys, that does it for me today. You know where to find me. And if you do nothing else, don't forget to always stay well, be intentional, and champion your change. I hope that you're signing up for our June cohort. Talk to you soon.